The 49ers report rolls on. Welcome into the show, everybody. My name is Chase Sr. As always, thank you so much for hanging out, supporting the channel. And of course, as always, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. What we're getting into here over the course of the next several minutes, a lot of breaking news for the Niners after beating the Arizona Cardinals yesterday. I do want to begin here. As always, thank you so much to the faithful for helping us continue to build this show and build a really special community here on YouTube. The Niners Report just surpassed 180,000 subscribers. We're bringing the heat daily with elite Niners coverage every single day year-round. So if you want more content like this, the solution is very simple. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to also hit that bell icon and turn your notifications to all. Therefore, anytime we push out a show like this, anytime we go live, you will get that push notification. All right, middle linebacker Tatum Bethune, who's done a really solid job of stepping in for Fred Warner, has a high ankle sprain, unfortunately. He suffered that injury against Arizona. He's going to miss the next couple of weeks. This is always a very troublesome injury, which causes players to miss some time. And Bethune obviously is not the player that Fred Warner is. Rarely anybody in the history of the NFL is, right? Fred Warner is truly one of one, but the Niners are going to miss a player who they took in the 7th round, who was developed as a young player who I think could be a solid building block for this ball club, and he's been a good playmaker for this Niners defense under Robert Saleh. He has been wearing the green dot. Saleh's been relaying the plays to him to relay to the rest of this Niners defense, and I'm not using these tackle numbers as evidence for why Bethune is an elite player, because tackle numbers don't show you if a player is good or not. But this is playmaking ability here, and there is a steadiness and a consistency to his game where Bethune always finds his way around the ball. Look at his tackle log since that Warner injury against the Buccaneers. He comes in for Warner, has 10 tackles. Against the Falcons, had 10 more. Against the Texans, 14 tackles. Against the Giants, 16 tackles. Against the Rams, he had 10. That's 5 straight games with double-digit tackles for Tatum Bethune, and then he got hurt early against the Cardinals, and he still had 3. So this is an issue for those reasons, but also San-FRAN-CISCO is very thin at the linebacker spot. Now, when Bethune got hurt, Kurtis Robinson came in. I thought he made some nice plays, especially ranging to his left to team up with Upton Stout on that forced fumble along the goal line. In coverage, he wasn't bad. He's mostly been a career special teamer. Last year, had a pretty good camp, then tore his ACL in practice. He's come back, and I was pleasantly surprised by how he played yesterday. So he's going to take the reins at middle linebacker. D. Winters will play that weak side linebacker spot. We saw Luke Gifford and Nick Martin play yesterday. Nick Martin getting his first snaps on defense as an NFL player. He popped at moments. But like we've seen with Upton Stout, these rookies are going to have some bumps and bruises. They're going to take their lumps. They're going to make some mistakes. But with young players, you have to live with that because that helps out their developmental process, which is why I was saying last week, if you're going to play Upton Stout, and you're going to live with the highs and the lows, because he's had some highs and lows this year, why not play Nick Martin and deal with the similar hits and misses throughout the course of a ball game? Because that helps a player improve. And so I thought Martin displayed his athleticism. He showed his great range. He plays like his hair is on fire. But yeah, sometimes he struggles in coverage because of a lack of awareness, a lack of understanding the scheme. There was a route where Trey McBride slipped right behind him. That was Nick Martin's route. Gave up a big pass play after the Renardo Green penalty call on the unsportsmanlike conduct, which Kyle Shanahan was very pissed about. That was justified that he was so angry. And so Nick Martin will do some nice things. He will do some bad things, and it'll be frustrating. But again, this year is about developing these young players. And with Tatum Bethune getting hurt, Nick Martin naturally is going to get some more snaps at off-ball linebacker. Also, a lot of people were saying, you can't play him instead of Luke Gifford. They don't play the same position. Well, yesterday he was in there at times for Luke Gifford, and I was right on that. As for Eddy Pineiro, this stinks. Eddy Pineiro has a grade 1 hamstring strain, and according to head coach Kyle Shanahan, he's going to miss some time. Eddy Pineiro has become a legend in the Bay Area. He has been extremely clutch, and he has been a special teams weapon for this Niners team. Where would San Francisco be without the right leg of Pineiro, who has literally been perfect in his field goal attempts this season? 4 of 4 from 20 to 29 yards, 4 of 4 from 30 to 39 yards, 8 of 8 on kicks of 40 to 49 yards, and on kicks spanning 50-plus yards, Eddy Pineiro, a perfect 6 for 6. This season, he is 22 of 22. Bring some confidence, some fire, some swagger, and confidence to this Niners special teams unit, and hopefully he can come back soon, because I think that he can be the Niners kicker of the future, and he's one of the most accurate kickers of all time. Now, the Niners are going to bring in some kickers this week to try to replace Pineiro while he's out. One of those kickers is going to be Parker Romo, 22 of 26 with the Falcons this year. I hope this isn't the option. There are better options out there. Younghoe Koo missed some kicks for Atlanta. He got let go. Parker Romo replaced him. He missed some kicks. He was let go. And so he wasn't good as a secondary option for Atlanta. He's been with a couple of teams. He's played in regular season games with 2 teams. I don't really like the wind-up. I think the kicking formation and the technique isn't really all that fluid. And Niners better be careful who they choose here, because this is a really important spot for this Niners team, considering what they went through with Jake Moody. Which brings me to Jake Moody. The Niners could have done the funniest thing ever. They had an opportunity to bring back Jake Moody if they wanted to. He was on the Bears practice squad, not on their active roster. If San Francisco wanted to, and if Jake Moody was up for a reunion, the Niners could have poached him off the practice squad. Niners did not do that. They're going to go elsewhere. Or did they get beat to the punch? Because the Washington Commanders let go of their kicker, Matt Gay, and they poached Jake Moody off the Bears practice squad and signed him to their active roster. Moody has kicked in 2 games for the Bears this year. He's been really good, and he's been really clutch in rainy conditions against Washington earlier on in the year when that game had a lot of implications. He had the game winner, and I think he went 4 of 5 in that game. The miss was a block. Moody was good with Chicago. He's a Midwest guy. Now he goes to Washington, and a Jake Moody reunion not going to happen. Honestly, it was never going to happen with the Niners, but again, they could have done the funniest thing ever. Elsewhere on the injury front, Niners will not open Brandon Aiyuk's practice window this week. So it is yet another week in which Aiyuk will not practice, and at this point, I'm going to be surprised if BA plays this year. Practice window, if it was open, he'd be eligible to come back within the next 3 weeks. That's when the Niners would have to activate him. He did tear up his knee October 20th of 2024. So we are about 13 months removed from that injury. The key here, I was never expecting him to come back in like 9 to 12 months. Why? He tore 3 ligaments in his knee. It was as bad of a knee injury as you could have suffered. And so the Niners, they don't want a repeat of the Dre Greenlaw situation. They're going to take their time here. They know that BA is a special player. Maybe they try to hold on to any trade value he might have after the season, but the return of BA is going to have to wait. The Niners are going to be opening up the practice window for wide receiver Jacob Cowing after the bye week. Now, the bye week is in week 14. So will we see Jacob Cowing this year? Didn't do anything his rookie year because he didn't see the field. Year 2, it's been lost because he's injured and re-injured his hamstring. He told Matt Barrows of The Athletic like 3 times. When he's tried to come back, he's re-injured it. Really unfortunate for a player who had a great spring and a great summer, who's an explosive player downfield and can be used as a gadget guy and was highly productive at the college level. The Niners over the weekend did release Adrian Martinez from the active roster because Brock Purdy got healthy, and the Niners were content going with 2 quarterbacks on game day. Brock Purdy, QB1, Mac Jones, QB2. So when they released Adrian Martinez, he was let go. He cleared waivers. He's expected to come back to the Niners practice squad, and so he will in turn be QB3. Now coming up next here on the show, a concern I still have with the 49ers despite their dominant win over the Arizona Cardinals. Stay tuned for that. Continue to kick it here with me. Why would you go anywhere else? We're talking about Niners football here on the show because that's what we do. Let's first get to our sponsor, our friends at Tushy. Remember, a-hole is only a naughty word if you wipe with cheap, bad toilet paper. And for a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first luxury bidet order when you use our code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com/chat when you use the code CHAT. Tushy is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. Whether you're shopping for a bro, CEO, daddy, activist, content daddy like myself, or somebody who lights their farts on fire. Call them a pyro. It's the gift that refuses to pick a lane. Luxurious, practical, techie, so easy to use. 99% of people who wash with Tushy Wave feel cleaner and fresher after going to the bathroom. Tushy Bidet gives you 2-in-1 benefits, reducing irritation and preventing micro tears with soothing water instead of scratchy toilet paper or damaging wet wipes. And instead of wiping endlessly, Tushy pristinely removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient, fresh water. It also has a front and rear nozzle. Very easy, do-it-yourself install. People who have made the switch to Tushy use up to 80% less toilet paper. No more clogged toilets. No more wasting money on something that does an inferior job cleaning your body. This is the Everyday Luxury Bidet and the sponsor of today's show. Head to hellotushy.com/chat. Use that code CHAT, 10% off your order. All right, let's get to this now. A big concern I still have with the Niners, despite what was an impressive and much-needed win over Arizona, the Niners still have no pass rush. Jacoby Brissett on Sunday dropped back 57 times in the ballgame, and the Niners had just 13 pressures and did not sack him once. You know what that is? That sucks as far as your Niners pass rush production. Now, you're going to look at the overall yardage here and say, wow, the Niners defense gave up 488 yards, 6.9 yards per play. Yeah, usually that's pretty alarming, and part of it is a little bit alarming. But when the Cardinals commit nearly 200 yards in penalties for 17 penalties in the game, that means that they're playing behind the sticks quite often. And when you jump into an early 2-touchdown hole, what happens? You're going to pass the football a lot. And so these numbers are skewed a little bit, and the context is obviously important there. But when you can't generate a pass rush, it is not fair to the second and third level of your defense. And these Niners backers without Tatum Bethune gave up a lot of passing yards downfield. Michael Wilson, without Marvin Harrison and Zay Jones at receiver for Arizona, had the most receiving yards in a game for any player this season. Now, the Niners were able to generate 3 turnovers. They didn't turn it over on offense, so they won the turnover battle 3-0. But it's alarming when you can't get after the quarterback, because when you go up against a legitimate team and a really good play caller and a really good quarterback, you will get sliced and diced. And oh yeah, that's what happened last week against the Los Angeles Rams. And oh yeah, that's why I said I wanted the Niners to make a move for a pass rusher, because they desperately need 1 or 2 of them. So Brissett yesterday, just insane video game numbers. 47 of 57 for 452 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a quarterback rating of 96.8. And backing up that concerning performance from the Niners pass rush, you look at the Niners sack leaders. Bryce Huff has 4. The second leading sack producer on the team, Nick Bosa. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to embark on week 12. Nick Bosa has not played since week 3. And he had those 2 sacks in the first 2 weeks and games of the year. It's not going to cut it. Sam Okuwanu has 2 sacks. Your 4th leading sacker is a corner, Upton Stout. Mykel Williams out for the year. Cleveland Ferrell, healthy scratch yesterday after getting added to the active roster. Kalia Davis, a half sack. Keon White, a half sack. Yikes. Now, this is a crazy season for San Francisco, and I think that Kyle Shanahan should be NFL Coach of the Year. There are going to be other coaches who might get it, like a Mike Vrabel for New England. But what Kyle Shanahan is doing this year with all of these injuries, Mac Jones having to start 8 games, and the Niners are still 7-4. What a nutty season. What a great coaching job. And it's really been a fun ride to watch this because I never expected the Niners to win a Super Bowl this year because of the hybrid reset that they had this offseason, but you'll certainly take a fun and entertaining season. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here for Elite Niners coverage every single day year-round, and we'll catch you soon.